It's very uncommon for moviegoers to undertake pilgrimages to famous filming locations, such as the Ghostbusters fire station in New York City or the Rocky Stairs in Philadelphia. However, this list is intended for horror film fans. We've compiled a list of 5 of the most iconic locations from horror films that can actually be seen. Fortunately, the eerie on-screen creatures and ghosts should be absent. Lord Summerisle's Castle from the Wicker Man, 1973. The Wicker Man, a folk horror film directed by Robin Hardy, is set on the mythical Scottish island of Summerisle and was shot in a few small communities along Scotland's west coast. Culzean Castle serves as the exterior for Lord Summerisle's Christopher Lee spectacular castle house. Culzean's massive turrets and battlements are erected on a spectacular bluff overlooking the sea. The huge grounds are open all year and visitors can go inside from April until the end of October. The interior of Culzean, however, will be unfamiliar to Wicker Man fans as those sequences were actually shot nearly an hour away at Lochhinch Castle, which is located in the grounds of Castle Kennedy. Although Lochhinch is not open to the public, Kennedy's gardens are, and these were also used in the film. They were utilized for the May Day parade and the tableau in the standing stone circle when naked ladies dance and leap over the fire. The Cemetery from Night of the Living Dead, 1868. Night of the Living Dead begins in a cemetery, with siblings Johnny, Russell Striner, and Barbara, Judith O'Dea, visiting their father's grave. Johnny teases a terrified Barbara with the well-known remark, "They're coming to get you, Barbara." This scene was shot in Evans City Cemetery, Pennsylvania, about 30 miles, 48 kilometers north of Pittsburgh, where director George A. Romero grew up. Grace and George H. Cole own the gravestone used for Johnny and Barbara's father's grave. Nicholas Kramer owns the tall column memorial stone that Barbara clutches in terror as she watches her brother being killed by a zombie. The Living Dead Museum hosts an event called the Living Dead Weekend in Evans City every October. The cemetery is on the filming locations tour, and it will even host a meet and greet brunch with several of the actors, including O'Dea and Striner, in October 2023. Count Orlok's Castle from Nosferatu, 1922. The legendary 1922 silent film Nosferatu by F.Q. Murnau is set in Transylvania. It was shot in Germany and Slovakia. The picturesque German cities of Lübeck and Wismar were used to represent the towns that Thomas Hutter, Gustav von Wangenheim, passes through on his trip to Count Orlok's Max Schreck castle. The haunting 13th century Orava Castle in Slovakia, located imposingly on a steep craggy protrusion, serve as the Count's residence and is open for tours year-round. The video also featured Slovakia's high Tatra Mountains and the Va River. Orava Castle created such an impression as a vampire's lair that it will reprise the role in Mark Gatiss and Stephen Moffat's 3-episode Dracula TV drama, which will premiere in 2020. The Steps from the Exorcist, 1973. Father Damien Carras, Jason Miller, gets possessed by the demon and jumps out of a window at the end of The Exorcist. He falls down the steep stone steps below, dying at the bottom. Filming took place in the Georgetown neighborhood of Washington, D.C., but some film magic was required to achieve this exact moment. The McNeil's house was actually situated back from the steps, so a false front was erected to allow stuntman Chuck Waters to do the drop at the proper angle. To significantly cushion Waters' fall, special effects supervisor Marcel Vercouter lined each step with a half-inch thick layer of rubber, which he had to execute twice. Georgetown University students allegedly sold $5 tickets to people who wanted to observe the bone-rattling stunt from the nearby rooftops. The steps have drawn so many followers over the years that an official plaque was placed in 2015. Mayor Muriel Bowser said, "It is important that all the tourists know exactly what these steps mean to DC history, and they are indeed an icon in our town." The Overlook Hotel from The Shining, 1980. Stephen King was inspired to create The Shining, 1977, after staying at the desolate Stanley Hotel in Colorado at the end of the season. The Overlook was a combination of 2 hotels constructed by architect Gilbert Stanley Underwood for Stanley Kubrick's 1980 film adaptation. The exterior pictures were shot at the Timberline Lodge on Mount Hood in Oregon. Interior scenes were shot on sound stages at England's Elstree Studios, but the sets were created to seem like the Ahwahnee Hotel in Yosemite National Park, California. The majestic main hall and stairway of the Overlook are very similar to those of the Ahwahnee. Production was really delayed for a time due to a fire that destroyed a handful of the sound stages. According to Murray Close, the set still photographer, it damaged the stage that had the set of the Overlook Hotel with a lounge set where Jack typed and he chased Shelley Duvall around the baseball bat. The cause of the fire was never determined, but Close obtained a rare image of Kubrick grinning him in the ruins while collecting insurance shots.